Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Balenciaga, the whole thing that's been going on Balenciaga. But if you're new here, my name's Kyra. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Angel Baby Kyra, TikTok. I'm pretty much Angel Baby Kyra everywhere now. So I'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and go follow me there on Instagram. But let's get into today's video. If you don't know what Balenciaga is, you've probably been living under a rock. Why did I say the rock? Under a rock the last 5 years, maybe even a decade. Balenciaga is basically a high fashion brand that is often sported. You can see it be sported in LA a lot by high fashion people. A very expensive brand. It's a high fashion brand. It was created by Cristobal Balenciaga. And now I do retract my statement that Balenciaga is genius. I take it back. This is not genius at all. But if you don't know, Balenciaga is coming under fire and has a lot of controversy over its latest campaign with children. So I'm going to be taking some Instagram posts from Diet Prada and be reading an article from The Cut and Kim Kardashian's statement, and now most currently Demna's personal statement. Balenciaga is suing over and all that stuff. But first we gotta look at the campaign controversy. So it says the utter mess of Balenciaga's latest campaign controversy. 2 campaigns have ignited a firestorm for the Keurig-owned luxury brand with allegations of endorsing child and I'm really scared to say any of these things, so they'll be on the screen because YouTube has been really weird, and literally that one of my thumbnails went against community guidelines when this was literally the thumbnail I'm too scared to use on my Shein video. But basically it's showing really inappropriate images of children holding very inappropriate bag. As you can see, the bear that this child is holding is a very kind of explicit, and if you look at this picture of this bag, like, it seems completely normal, but under the bag are like documents and statements, and this is a close-up of the document, and it says very just explicit things about literally like kind of like a court case. Come on, can't just be like, oh, those were just some random documents. The child, the court case, and its contents. You can pause it if you want to read it, but I'm not gonna read it because I'm so scared to get I don't want to get flagged against community guidelines. It's literally just so meticulous, and the details in fashion shoots are what you're supposed to be looking at. Are like details in fashion shoots and set design matter, and they have intent. There's no way this cannot be intentional. Also have things about, and it says, in some of the paintings, the children are in the process of disappearing. Phantom bodies not quite removed from the gruesome acts. These ghostly figments remind us the artist's hand of the detached extremity and his control over what we see and what we don't. More poetically, the visible existence of disappearance suggests the impossibility of a clean escape from a bloody episode. Importantly, Bormans chose to depict children too young to have clear memories. This is like the close-up. Obviously you see the model in the picture, and then the close-up is of like these books that are by Michael Bormans, and this is basically just like an excerpt, I believe, from what the book is about, and just like his art, I guess. And then we have another one where there's another model standing, and this thing is like framed. Okay, so like someone had to like print this out at a frame, put it in the frame, and put it just in the frame of the camera to be right behind the model. And this is court watching Judge Parrott binds Fisher over for trial on 7 charges. And it's basically just this court hearing thing that is framed. And it's like, there's just too many coincidences to be coincidences, because this was completely intentional, and there was literally a running theme with this. Like, I don't know how many more pieces of evidence we would need to verify that this is intentional. And this was Balenciaga's initial statement. They said, "We sincerely apologize for any offense our holiday campaign may have caused. Our plush bear bags should not have been featured with children in this campaign. We have immediately removed the campaign from all platforms. We apologize for displaying unsettling documents in our campaign. We take the matter very seriously and are taking legal action against the parties responsible for creating the set and including unapproved items for our Spring 23 campaign photo shoot. We strongly condemn abuse of children in any form. We stand for children's safety and well-being." The way that they're like, we are taking actions against the parties responsible, and it's literally like Balenciaga is the one that's responsible. Like, what other parties can be involved? And it's the way that this had to be approved by multiple people, by like a full-fledged team, like approved this. They were like, oh yeah, let's put that in there. Or like, yeah, let's put a child with this teddy bear. Like, I think the parties involved are Balenciaga. and its team. Its creative director, Demna. And I don't really know who else they could be blaming, but we'll get into that. This is Gabrielle Galimberti's statement. I am not in position to comment Balenciaga's choices, but I must stress that I was not entitled in whatsoever manner to either choose the products, nor the models, nor the combination the same. As a photographer, I was only and solely requested to let the given scene and take the shots according to my signature style. As usual, the direction of the campaign and of the shooting are not on the hands of a photographer, which, I mean, it's not, but like, I don't know, I feel like people, if you're like there and you're like, oh, this is kind of weird, I would feel uncomfortable doing that. And it's like, this is no longer being like edgy Balenciaga, this is like perversion. So now we're gonna look at what Balenciaga says they're gonna do. It says Balenciaga is suing the set designer and production company of Kitty campaign for $25 million. A summons is seeking redress for extensive damages from North 6 Incorporated and Nicholas Desjardins, sorry I said that wrong, for their involvement in the campaign. And this is just the initial whatever that they're trying to do, whatever they're trying to sue. It states that materials used in the campaign, namely a page from a SCOTUS ruling upholding criminal prohibition against child, were used without their knowledge or approval. Balenciaga believes that defendants' inexplicable acts and omissions were malevolent, or at the very least extraordinarily reckless. The summons read, as a result of defendants' misconduct, members of the public, including the news media, have falsely and horrifically associated Balenciaga with the repulsive and deeply disturbing subject of the court decision. Susan Scafidi of Fordham's at Fashion Law Institute believes the blame is strategically misplaced. If Balenciaga were primarily interested in monetary compensation for the advertising disaster, it probably would have taken time to negotiate a settlement, she said via email. Instead, Balenciaga filed an immediate media-worthy lawsuit in order to disavow the campaign in the strongest possible terms and offer the public a different pair of villains in the form of the production company and set designer. So basically, Balenciaga is trying to differentiate themselves and be like, oh, well, we hired these set designers, these photographers, this production company to do this, and we trusted them. But it's like, you have to approve this. You approved this before it went out. And if you didn't, why wouldn't you? It doesn't make sense as a company as big as Balenciaga. I believe it was today that Demna made his statement on his personal Instagram, and this is his personal message. It says, I want to personally apologize for the wrong artistic choice of concept for the gifting campaign with the kids, and I take my responsibility. It was inappropriate to have kids promote objects that had nothing to do with them. As much as I would sometimes like to provoke a thought through my work, I would never, capitalize, have an intention to do that with such an awful subject as child abuse that I condemn, period. I need to learn from this, listen and engage with child protection organizations to know how I can contribute and help on this terrible subject. I apologize to anyone offended by the visuals, and Balenciaga has guaranteed that adequate measures will be taken not only to avoid similar mistakes in the future, but also to take accountability in protecting child welfare in every way we can. Sincerely, Demna. Some people are like saying like this is a good apology, but a lot of people have a differing opinion and say that like this apology is like it's too late. Like it's a little too late to say that. And I feel like if Demna actually really cared about child abuse and things like that, he wouldn't have put this out in the first place, or would have been more careful, especially when he knows that he's using child models. And there's always this whole thing, it's like also the parents of these children models, I believe one of the parents said that people are blowing it out of proportion or something, and it's like you are willingly putting your child in a dangerous situation to make money. Because what is this like 7-year-old gonna do with the money that they are making from doing a Balenciaga shoot? It goes to like their parents, but then now we have all those stricter children laws when like they do things like this, but still the parents have like autonomy over the child, and it can't really be protected because the child doesn't really know what's going on. The child is just doing what they're told by their parents and trusting that their parents would not put them in a dangerous situation like this. And especially with the rise of these days, especially with the internet, children are more prone and susceptible to being in this kind of situation. And it's really scary how people are trying to normalize it. Even the parents are trying to do that, and we can't have it be like a normal thing for people to put their children to. like especially with things coming out like with Jeanette McCurdy and her mother and just her terrible experience with Dan Schneider, which is a whole nother topic. I wanted to read something that was a little interesting. This is an article by Evie, and it says Julia Fox claims there's no problem in Hollywood and that the issue is actually just men. Here's why she's dead wrong. And from this, if she is saying that the issue is just men, I would have to half agree with that, and I don't wholeheartedly agree with it, and I don't wholeheartedly I'm against it, because a lot of the abusers are men or older men. That doesn't mean abusers cannot be women. So the hashtag balenciagagate has been trending for days after the reveal of the fashion brand's latest campaign that featured child content, but model Julia Fox insists that there's no problem in Hollywood. The problem is actually men. This basically goes over what I just said, and many people went down the rabbit hole to discover that a stylist for Balenciaga named Lada Volkova has a long history of posting photos on her Instagram that featured child. Oh, okay. In fact, she has posted many images of teddy bears that look exactly like the Balenciaga campaign from hell. She's close friends with the creative director Balenciaga, who has said in a previous interview that he, Lada, and another friend and stylist, Gosha Rubichinsky, grew up in radiation from Chernobyl, which is why we're so... They're really going to say that. It becomes clear every day that Balenciaga's campaign was no accident, and that the brand has a history of either posting inappropriate content involving minors or employing/hiring people who seem to be obsessed with this kind of topic and content. However, throughout all these discoveries, a reasonable amount of outrage has been directed at Balenciaga and the many celebrities who have remained silent on this issue. Model and socialite Julia Fox claims that we've got it all wrong. So basically, I guess Julia Fox posted a video claiming that people are getting upset about what goes on in Hollywood for no reason whatsoever. Because according to Julia, there is no issue that is unique to Hollywood. It says, you guys love saying Hollywood, all the Hollywood, she says, listen up. There's in every industry, and basically just saying there's abusers everywhere. This isn't an issue with Hollywood, it's an issue with men, and this is the TikTok. And it has 3.6 million views, 700,000 comments.
You guys love saying the Hollyweird, all the pedophiles in Hollyweird. Listen up, fuck faces. There's pedophiles in every industry. You want to go be a chef? You'll probably have some abusers over there. You want to go be a teacher? Abusers over there. You want to go be an engineer? Abusers over there. This isn't an issue with Hollywood. This isn't an issue with the fashion world. This isn't an issue with celebrities. This is an issue with men, God damn it! Men!
Most people agree with her in the pointed industries where they see it. She posted another video in response to a user asking her for thoughts on Balenciaga. She responded she felt sick to her stomach when she saw the photos, but she said that none of the children were harmed in that shoot. She proceeded to talk about the church, presumably the Catholic Church, and claimed that millions of children are every day in the church. Not only is that statistic entirely untrue, it's completely off topic and a classic case of whataboutism. She also briefly mentions that we should be focusing on the men who are doing the abusing because this is an issue with women in her eyes. Not an irrelevant detail that Julia is a Hollywood socialite who works in the fashion industry as both a model and a designer. Why is it that so many celebrities are either ignoring the child content that's been exposed in Hollywood or doing their absolute best to turn away our attention from it? So this is why Julia Fox is wrong. One can certainly agree with the concept that pedophilia is sadly present everywhere because they live and work around us. However, there is in front of our eyes, and there are far too many celebrities, including and especially Julia, who keep trying to divert our attention away from it and point to something else. Of course, it's upsetting and tragic whenever are abused, whether it's at a church, in school, at a daycare, or wherever else it takes place. But Julia and all her other Hollywood buddies need to stop necessarily trying to divert our attention away from Balenciaga, because there's very clearly a coordinated, intentional effort to exploit children. More importantly, the massive difference between Hollywood and these other spaces where happens, none of these other industries advertise, promote, and attempt to normalize it the same way that Hollywood does. So I think this is a very valid point that I think it is kind of weird that Julia's trying to gravitate everyone's attention away from what's really going on in Hollywood, because obviously we have all the things with Epstein and all the other things that had gone on with famous actors, Kevin Spacey, just to name two. But it's kind of a known fact that this goes on in Hollywood, and I don't think Julia's doing any good, any justice to anyone. And yes, the children weren't physically harmed, but this is gonna harm them in a way when they grow up, and just their mental psyche, how they view themselves. And plus, it's just given more content to people who enjoy that kind of content. So basically, not a lot of people have spoken out. There's an article from The Cut that shows like an artist had drawn this on the Balenciaga store. It says November 28th, a street artist in London appears to have defaced the storefront of Balenciaga's flagship, stenciling on one of the windows, according to Newsweek. There were also reports of a store near the Beverly Hills store on Rodeo Drive being defaced. And this is a quote from them. I did it due to the abhorrent photo shoots Balenciaga did, the artist told the outlet. So obviously people are really outraged by it for obvious reasons. I'm really hoping so. They said that Kim Kardashian eventually made a statement about it. And honestly, I didn't really expect much from Kim to do anything. Like, she is Balenciaga, low-key the face, one of many faces of Balenciaga. It says on Sunday, Kim Kardashian, a vocal supporter of the brand, who previously starred in her own campaign for it and recently included a cameo from Balenciaga's creative director Demna on her Hulu show The Kardashians, issued a statement on Instagram and Twitter. Oh, I have been quiet for the past few days, not because I haven't been disgusted and outraged by the recent Balenciaga campaign, she wrote. Her statement went on to say she is currently reevaluating her future relationship with the brand, basing it off their willingness to accept accountability for something that should have never happened to begin with. I'm not surprised by Kim's statement. Everything is monetary moves for them, for the Kardashian clan, which isn't very shocking, to be honest. And I just think that overall thing that has been going on here is normalization of just in the entertainment industry, which seems to be getting worse and worse because people do not want to talk about it and do not want to actually face the truth about it, because so many celebrities are keeping hush hush because they don't want to lose what they have, their connections with people. People start shunning you, start losing brand deals, you won't be in that movie, you won't get signed to that label, you won't get that photo shoot, you won't be a photographer for that one influencer. So everyone's kind of in this band of trying to protect each other while knowing that it's completely wrong, but they'd rather have the money and the fame than speak out about it. And I think Julia Fox is trying to do that thing where it's like she wants to make it seem like she's speaking out about it while simultaneously shutting it down and diverting attention away from it. But I kind of wanted to look at the Instagram of that one person. Okay, it says Lada Volkova, which is weird because it's like if she's posting things like that, I would feel like Instagram would take it down. Like, I literally had a post of me. Oh, it's private. How convenient. It looks like people I know have followed that. Maybe they just made their account private. Yeah, there's not really much. Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's gonna be the end of this video. That's really interesting. What do you guys think about the Balenciaga thing? I think it's completely intentional because like everything in the photo shoot is determined and is intentional. Details matter. The details always matter. They're meant to matter. The details are meant to be there. And I think Demna needs to step down as creative director because there's no saving Balenciaga. At least there shouldn't be any saving Balenciaga. Balenciaga is far beyond repair unless a new creative director can turn it around and there'll be another face. But even then, I feel like people won't really see Balenciaga the same way. But also there are people on Twitter that are saying that people are just mad because they can't afford Balenciaga, which is completely insane. But I think this is the end of this video, so I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you like and subscribe and let me know what you think. Bye.